Epic Games humbles Fortnite cheaters by making them publicly apologize. Whoo boy, is it that time of year already? Time seems to fly by when you're having fun, or in this case, when you cheat. Epic Games is to cheating what Nintendo has been for emulation. Their hands are rated E for everyone and they do not pull their punches. Fortnite has become one of the biggest games in the world, and as such it has its fair share of people who like to cheat in games. From smaller things like gathering lobby data to more infamous acts like wall hacks and aimbotting. And I feel like cheats have only gotten better over the years, and I gotta be honest, some games just haven't been doing a good job keeping pace. But not Epic Games. These guys are like hawks when it comes to cracking down on cheaters. And whilst I can't actually speak to this state of the game itself, if you're caught cheating, you'd be lucky to just get a ban alone. These guys want to make it hurt. If you're not in the know, the Battle Royale developer has added 2 more names to its long list of Fortnite cheaters it has sued. The individuals in question were caught DDoSing streamers and selling cheat software. And so on top of being banned, these guys were forced to push out public apologies. A fate worse than death, some would say, but let me read some of these out to you. Okay, so this first one comes from the guy who actually sold the cheats online, who goes by the name Mirrored, and as you can see, this one went absolutely ballistic online. Over 1 million views alone on X, which that's gotta hurt, right? But the guy basically said, I would like to apologize to the Fortnite community for both cheating in Fortnite tournaments and selling and distributing cheats and hardware that enabled others to cheat. I violated Epic's rules and they have taken legal action against me. I am banned from playing Fortnite forever and I'll face legal action if I sell or distribute cheats again. And this other apology comes from the guy who was doing the DDoS attacks online, who goes by the name Zebsy, and as you can see, he's gone with a very creative title called July 14th, 2025. But the guy basically said, I recently carried out distributed denial of service attacks, which is basically the long way of saying DDoS, in Fortnite under the username ttvhumpty.llc, which is one of the names out there, I suppose. The DDoS attacks impacted Fortnite matches of streamers as well as other users involved in those matches. I am sorry for the DDoS attacks and the harm and damage they caused to the streamers, other players, and Epic Games, the operators of Fortnite. My account has been banned from Fortnite. I regret my actions and will not be involved in any more DDoS attacks. And it pretty much just ends there for the rest of the video. And as you can imagine, the comments did not hold back on these videos. And I think the majority of us could agree that A, this was a long time coming and well deserved, and B, good riddance, right? But it's not the only instance of this happening. In fact, in 2025 alone, Epic Games has gone after multiple cheaters through lawsuits, their demands ranging from fines to public apologies. Back in 2024, Epic Games promised to crack down on tournament cheaters and to be a lot more harsh when it comes to punishments. Let me rapid fire some of the most recent cases from Epic Games' Shame a Cheater arc this year. Back in June, a frequent tournament cheat by the name of Sebastian Araujo from Lomita, California was banned by Epic. This guy played in 839 cash tournaments in the span of 4 months, with winnings roughly accumulating to around $6,850. 991 complaints and 1 big lawsuit later, and this guy was forced to pay $175k, 25 times higher, which was reached by finding $200 for each tournament he participated in, plus attorney fees. And Epic Games donated all of that money to charity, which I think is a pretty big thing from them. And I mean, Fortnite is one of the highest grossing games of all time, so it's not like they necessarily needed it. Before then, in the same month, Fortnite showed that it wasn't just eyeing cheaters, but were going after the people that were creating the software itself. It went after a cheat maker called Eddie Zatas, otherwise known as Cincy Cheats or Vantage Cheats, alongside 5 other unknown defenders who were selling the software across various websites. The lawsuit alleges that he's been making and selling cheat software since January 2023. And this is crazy. The lawsuit also alleges that he tried to impersonate Epic Games to try and revert back a copyright strike placed on one of his videos featuring the software. And here's another one, which is probably the one you've heard the most about. Morgan Bamford, otherwise known as Repulsecod, was disqualified from competing in the 2023 Fortnite Championship Series Grand Finals, after it was found that he had dishonestly qualified for the event by selling his account to a cheater named Forbes, who then took his place to compete alongside his duo partner Jace. He was not only banned but forced to pay back all of the winnings he had earned so far through the event. And you guessed it, Epic Games demanded another apology video. So here's this video called 15th of February 2025. Where do they get these names from? I have no idea. But basically he said, I shared my Epic Games account with another user, Forbes, to qualify for the 2023 Fortnite Championship Series Grand Finals. My actions violated Epic's rules and I was disqualified from the tournament. Epic took legal action against me and now I'm banned from participating in Fortnite tournaments forever. I also have to pay well, I don't mean to be a grammar police, but there's a bit of a spelling mistake here. I also have to pay a monetary settlement, which includes the prize money I received but did not win fairly, which Epic will donate to charity. Cheating in tournaments ruins the fun for players. Wow, you don't say. Who earned their spot in the tournament, and I apologize to the Fortnite community for my actions. I won't ever cheat in Fortnite again. But there's a clear pattern going on here. Mainly, what's with all the apology videos? Well, it probably goes without saying, but it's likely Epic's way of trying to deter others who would be encouraged to follow in these guys' footsteps. I mean, obviously, right? If you cheat in Fortnite, it's not only going to result in a ban, but possibly a public shaming that could bleed into your personal life and affect your future opportunities. I mean, imagine doing a job interview and they do like a background check on you and they discover the thing you're most well known for is being sued by a multi-billion-dollar company and being forced to push out a public apology over cheating in a video game. I mean, references, they don't get any better than that. But I also think it's a goodwill gesture to the community, a sort of vote of confidence, if you will. Here is an example of us taking action against a cheater, so you feel less anxious about encountering one during your games. And if you do face one, well, you can be rest assured that we will not let it slide. Now, some people might think this is extremely harsh. After all, it's just cheating in a video game, right? But I think this is more than justified. Because yeah, it's a video game, you know, where you're supposed to be having fun, and the sole goal of these people using these software is only to secure the bag and the win at the expense of everybody else. I think cheating has always been one of those things that people always see on the internet but don't really think too much about. Because with most things, you don't realize it's a problem until it happens to you. And let me tell you, some of these cheats can be disgusting, to say the least. We've talked about DDoS attacks, which in the most layman's terms I can manage is basically where they infect your computer with malware by flooding it with online traffic, so that control is handed over to the attacker, and therefore they gain access to all your information like your IP address, basically brute forcing their way to your computer and basically sharing your information to the public. But there could be other things as well, like cheaters using exploits and mods to brick your console remotely. This was particularly prevalent around the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, where you can imagine you're logging onto an online match and some random player can put in a couple of commands and corrupt your save file, locking you out of the game entirely. Some people just want to see the world burn, and that's just a harsh reality a lot of us will have to face. Because if you can't beat them in game, apparently the only option is to beat them in real life. But honestly, if companies were as proactive as Epic Games has been with cheaters in Fortnite, they would likely be less of a problem now than they currently are. But start by fixing your anti-cheat systems, then we can talk about the walks of shame. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta make my apology video for Epic Games, so I'll catch you next time.